Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today I have a full face of Sephora just in time for the Sephora Savings Event. And I'm also gonna throw in some of my recommendations. So I do have new products that I actually placed an order at Sephora last week that I'll be sharing in today's video. And then I'm also gonna share some of my favorite recommendations. I'm gonna also link past Sephora videos in there because as you can imagine, I've covered this Sephora Savings Event many years over and over. And I have all of my favorite holy grail products in these videos. And those will be linked down below if you want a more extensive shopping list and recommendations. If you're new and you're not familiar with the Sephora Savings Event, let me share it with you. So the Beauty Insider program is Sephora's rewards program, and there's no cost to sign up. I'll have a link down below where you can sign up if you're not already. I'm sure most of you are. And as you shop throughout the year at Sephora in store or online, you accumulate points, and based on your points, you're a certain tier. So they have the Rouge, they have VIB, and they also have Insider. And depending on your tier, you get certain discounts and access to the Sephora Savings Event. You can get 20% off if you are Rouge, you get 15% off if you are VIB, and you get 10% off if you are an Insider. And I'll have all those details along with the date windows that you can shop in the description box below. I also want to mention that during this event, they have 30% off all Sephora collection products, and that discount is available for all tiers. So regardless if you're Insider, VIB, or Rouge, you can get 30% off Sephora collection only during this event. So again, everything will be listed and linked. You don't have to remember that. Just check out the description box. I will, of course, link all the products that I use with shade recommendations as well. And before we jump into the video, I also want to say if you have any recommendations, like your Holy Grail products, let's do a little challenge. Everyone in the comment section below, leave me your top 3 Sephora Holy Grail products that you would recommend to any and everyone in the comment section below. I love going through your comments and getting recommendations for myself, and I think it's fun to kind of, share that information with the community. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and jump into the video. So we're gonna start off with the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I am the shade 5.9. This is a great go-to foundation, I feel, for most skin types because of the finish of it. It has like a really natural, radiant finish. So it gives the skin a bit of a glow, but it's not a shiny glow. It stays very controlled. It wears beautifully all day. It's lightweight. The coverage is pretty buildable. It's just one of those foundations that is just a classic. It's such a great foundation that's really stood the test of time. So I'm just gonna apply a pretty light layer of this. I'm not really needing a whole lot of coverage today. So in the areas that I want to build up and get a little bit more coverage, I'm just going to kind of stamp it and press it onto the skin. And then when I want to blend it out, I'll just work in big, large circles to blend and buff that out. The reason this foundation is great for most skin types is because if you're dry, it's going to give you a little bit of a glow. Typically drier skin types kind of lean away from things that are more matte. This is not a matte finish. It's going to give you a bit of glow, but it's still going to work for those combo or oily skin types because it's, like I said, it's not a shiny glow. It's a really controlled radiant, like a lit from within glow is what it is. It doesn't look like the glow is sitting on top of the skin. It looks like this glow is coming from within the skin. Really beautiful and very subtle, and it just lasts beautifully all day. Next up, we're going in with a new concealer. I'm really excited to try this. I'm always excited to try new concealers, but this one looked really promising. This is the Givenchy Prisma Libra Skin Caring Concealer. I grabbed the shade N120. It does look a little light for me, but we will try it out. I want to share a couple of what really sold me on this concealer. It's described as having a radiant finish, hydrating, medium coverage. It's also a 24-hour wear concealer, and it's formulated with 95% natural origin ingredients that conceals, corrects, and cares for skin. So I liked that it was a hydrating concealer, but that it also is long wearing. So let's give this a try. Yeah, the shade is definitely on the lighter side for me, but I think we can make it work. So this feels really lightweight. It feels very hydrating. I think this color will work, but ideally I should have gone with something a little deeper and with a little more peachy tone to it. Okay, this is blending out really nicely. It feels very lightweight. Okay, this is really, really nice, you guys. Usually when I get a concealer that's the wrong shade, it's really difficult for me to decide if I'm gonna like it or not because the coverage can be compromised. But I can already tell I really like this formula even though the shade is lighter than I should have gotten. Okay, very radiant. It definitely gives a radiant finish under the eye. It almost has a luminance to it, so it highlights and brightens under the eye. Okay, so I do have it all blended out and it looks really nice. I definitely could have gone a little bit deeper and a little bit more peach because it would have helped cancel out that dark dark circles. I think that it works today, and I did want to mention that to prep my eyes and to prep my skin, I want to mention 2 products that I used. So I used a new sunscreen. This is from Inky List. It's the polyglutamic acid dewy sunscreen SPF of 30. This is a really hydrating and dewy finish SPF 30. It also primes the skin for makeup. You really can think of it as a dewy finish makeup primer with an SPF of 30. So this is what I used before I applied the foundation. And before I applied the concealer, I used the Sephora Brightening Eye Cream. So this is an eye cream that actually helps brighten underneath the eyes. So I did prep a little bit with this before going in with the concealer. This consistency is really nice. It is a cream, but it's not as heavy as some other creams. It's almost like a cream lotion hybrid. When you rub it into the skin, it has a very, almost like a thicker lotion feel to it. It's got hyaluronic acid in it, so it really helps attract moisture and retain moisture underneath the eyes. So I use this to prep underneath the eyes before concealing. So before we go in and set with powder, I'm gonna continue bronzing the face and adding some cheek color. Because I'm working with cream products, I wanna go in and do that before I apply powder. And I purchased this little Milk Makeup Sculpt Stick in this shade Stroke. Let me show you what it looks like. It is smaller than I thought. When I purchased it online, I didn't realize I was getting a smaller size, but it's actually, the more I think about it, it's really nice when you can purchase products in this size, because I don't know, do you guys ever really go through all of your makeup? I certainly don't, but I also am not the average person because I accumulate so much makeup, but I thought this was nice. Okay, ooh, okay. This is the shade that I got. It's very cool tone, so this is gonna work more as a contour product. I'm actually just gonna go in and apply. Whenever I'm working with a new product, I like to start with less, because you know, you don't really know the pigmentation payoff. You don't know how it's gonna blend out yet. And I'm just gonna do light little strokes around the perimeter of my face. I'm also going to slightly contour the nose a little bit. So this looks to be on the darker side of a contour for me, but my hope is that it blends out really easily. I'm gonna go in with the same brush I used for foundation, and we're just going to blend this into the skin. I haven't tried a ton of Milk Makeup, but the Milk Makeup products that I have tried, I really enjoyed. I love their Hydro Grip setting spray and their primer. I find those both to be really effective. So this blends out really nicely. Even though it looks darker, it actually blends in pretty seamlessly and looks really natural. And it doesn't take a lot of effort to blend it either. I've been using some liquid bronzers that are more sheer in pigment. So this is a nice little change. When I first put it on, I was worried that it might take more effort to blend, but it's actually blending out pretty easily. I'm gonna kind of bring a little bit down here in the center of my face. Typically I don't do that, but because we have this really light concealer and now I've gone and contoured, it's almost making the concealer look even lighter because of that contrast. So I'm just gonna kind of run whatever's left over on my brush. There's not a lot. I'm just gonna kind of run it across my face. This will just tie everything together. I wouldn't really go in and apply that contour here, but again, what is left on my brush is very minimal, and it's just creating a little more kind of warmth to the face. I picked up this little trio of Nude Stick Cream Blushes. It comes with 3 shades. Let me show you the shades that you get in here. You get a really beautiful, soft, kind of cool tone pink. That's really pretty. I think that's the one we're gonna do. You get more of a peachy pink. This is beautiful too. Ooh, that's really pretty. It almost reminds me of my Westman Atelier Petal, but a little bit deeper. And these are actually multitasking sticks. So these are safe for the eyes, lips, or the cheeks. And then you get a lighter shade, more of a pale, muted nude shade. That's really pretty too. That would look really good on more fair skin. We're gonna go with the first one, that pink. That one really jumped out to me. So I'm gonna go in and apply that, and I'm just going to do a couple of little marks right there on my cheek, going upward, starting at the apple of my cheek, but really taking that product up. I'm gonna use the same brush that I used for my foundation and my contour, and we're just going to blend that in. Okay, that blends in really nicely too. That's really pretty. It blended out pretty sheer. I'm gonna go in and add another color. I'm gonna use the peachier shade just because I want a little more color on my cheeks. Ooh, that's so pretty. That is gorgeous. Now the brush that I'm using is going to blend it out a little more sheerly because it's pretty dense. If I were to use a brush that had a lot longer fibers, you would have more of that pigment, but this brush is absorbing some of that pigment, so it's gonna give a nice softer blend. So I'm saying that because depending on the tool you use, you're gonna get more or less pigment payoff. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my brows, and this is by far my #1 recommendation for a brow pencil at Sephora. This is the Charlotte Tilbury. It's called the Brow Lift. I wear the shade medium brown. I really love this. This is my go-to. It's probably my 6th or 7th one that I've purchased. I like this because it's got a lot of pigment. It goes on really easily. It also has a waxy formula to it, so it kind of tames the brow hair and almost lays the brow hair down. I don't have a whole lot of brow hair, but some of the brow hair that I have likes to grow downward, and this can kind of help put it in place and lay it down upward. Next, I'm gonna go in with the Too Faced Brow Wig. This is a fiber gel, so this is just gonna add a little more volume to the brows. Next, we're gonna go in and set the center of the face. I'm gonna avoid applying powder over the cream products because I wanna keep that glow, but I am going to set the center of the face and underneath the eyes just to keep everything in place and kind of cut down shine a bit. There's not a whole lot of shine happening, but I definitely need to set underneath my eyes to avoid any creasing throughout the day. I'm gonna use the Makeup Forever HD Setting Powder. This is a matte setting powder, and I like it because it really just softly mattifies the skin and really sets the foundation nicely. And I'm using a large powder brush and just pressing in the center. So I really just set the center of the face, set the forehead, and then kind of softly trace that lower cream cheek situation. Now the concealer's looking a little more blended in. It's still bright, but it's not. It looks a little better now that I have some definition to the skin and I've got, you know, cheek and contour color. To prime the eyes, I'm going in with the Danessa Myricks Colorfix. This is the shade Exposed. It's a really beautiful kind of matte taupey shade. These are very versatile products. You can use them on the eyes, cheeks, or lips, but obviously depending on the color you get, it might be a product you put on your cheeks or not. I like to use these on the eyes. It's basically like a cream shadow, blends out beautifully, highly pigmented. Once it dries, it sets and stays in place. You can use it as an eye primer. You can also use it as a shadow alone. I typically wear these by themselves, but today I'm gonna play with the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette. I've been waiting for this to restock at Sephora for so long. I purchased this when it first launched, like, you know, a while back, and it disappeared. It grew legs and it disappeared. That happens quite a bit here because I just have so much makeup and I've got 2 girls that love to just come in here and take what they want and have fun with makeup and play with it. And then I also sometimes take things to the office, so sometimes things disappear. And I'm using a big fluffy eyeshadow brush just to really sheer this out. You can even use your finger to blend out the crease if you want a bit. This is a taupe, but it has a little bit of plum to it, so it really does complement and enhance blue or green eyes. So we're gonna be playing with the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette. I recommend this palette because it's really great to have on hand for any transition color that you might want. You can pair this with any other palette that has some fun color or shimmer color, or you can create a really beautiful neutral matte eye with this palette alone. On one of our photo shoots, Carla, who I've talked about here quite a bit, she used this on me and I absolutely love the way my makeup came out. And this was the only palette that she used. So I'm gonna take the lightest shade in a big fluffy crease brush and we're just gonna highlight underneath the brow with this to just give a little bit of lift to the brow and a little bit of brightness. Next, I'm gonna go in with this top shade here. This is Matte 4. And it's kind of a warm ochre shade, and I'm just gonna apply this right on the outer corner and then kind of sweep it in. So this is gonna slightly warm up that Danessa Myricks Colorfix. We're gonna use a mix of warm and cool shades for this look. Next, we're gonna go in with this deep shade here. This is Matte 6. It's kind of more of a warm chocolatey color, little espresso color. And we're gonna pop that right on the outer corner and kind of keep that color concentrated right there in the outer corner. So I'm moving my brush in little circles, but I'm not covering a lot of space. I really wanna concentrate that dark color just right out here, just to give a little more depth to the eye there. And last, we're gonna take this shade right here. This is Matte 3, and it's just a really soft, kind of peachy shade, and we're just gonna press a little bit of that right in the inner corner. This is gonna lighten and brighten that inner corner up. You can also take whatever's left over on your brush and you can kind of sweep it right on the lower inner corner. So excited about these. I picked up 2 new shades from the Bobbi Brown Longwear Cream Shadow Stick collection. I love this formula of stick eyeshadow. I would say it's definitely my favorite. I know I've said that before, but it really is. There's some other great formulas, but this is like probably my favorite because it's very creamy, but it also blends out beautifully. Once it sets, it's set. So you have time to play with it and manipulate it, shear it out, smoke it out. It also has a creamy texture, so you can use it as an eye primer and shadow will stick to it if you apply it pretty quickly after. Once it dries down and stays in place. One of my favorite shades that I always talk about is Golden Bronze. These are new shades, I believe. I got the shade Soft Bronze and I got the shade Bronze. So let me show you what these look like. This is the shade Bronze first. It is a really pretty, kind of true light bronze. It almost has like a penny color with less copper to it. That's so pretty. And then I got this shade right here. This is Soft Bronze. And let me grab Golden Bronze so you guys can see the comparison. Okay, so this one's even lighter, almost more of a gold color. It's like a deep gold. It's kind of hard to see with the lights reflecting, but do you see that? Okay, let me find the original Golden Bronze that I always talk about so you guys can see how they compare. Okay, so this is Golden Bronze. This will be the last one. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, so this is Golden Bronze right here. So it's the darker of the three. Pretty, but we're gonna use one of the new ones because I got them and I wanted to share them in this video, but this would definitely be a Sephora recommendation for you guys. What I love about cream shadows is that they're so easy to use. You can use them as an eyeliner, you can use them as a primer, you can use them and wear them alone by themselves as a shadow, which is typically what I do, because usually when I'm using these, it's for the purpose of like quick eye makeup. So I'm gonna use the shade Bronze and we're gonna use this on my lower lash line. I also love putting a little shimmer on my lower lash line because it just softens that look of lower liner. And I'm actually gonna take this from the inner corner all the way to the outer corner. Because it's a shimmer and it's not too dark, I can do that without it making the eye look smaller or closing it off. And I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna set that and deepen it just slightly on the outer half with a shade from this palette. We're gonna go in with this shade right here. It's a really warm reddish brown and it's the shade Matte number 10. And I'm gonna take a tiny bit of this on a smudger brush and I'm really just gonna keep this right on the outer half. So the outer corner till about the center of my eye. The purpose of this is just to deepen that outer corner. Give a little more definition, but still keep the eye open. Gorgeous. Let's go ahead and curl the lashes. Now, if there is one product out of this entire video that I recommend, if you have not tried it, it is the Dior Maximizer Lash Primer. Hands down, my favorite eyelash primer. This will give you very dramatic results. It'll take your mascara even further, but it also will condition your lashes, you know, improve the health of your lashes. So you use this every single day and you'll notice over time your lashes just look healthier. I'm gonna do a nice layer. Now the trick to this primer is people always ask, do you wait till it dries before apply mascara? I personally like to apply mascara right away. And the reason I like to do that is because if it dries, your lashes don't have that flexibility. It's dry. So your mascara is gonna take form to however your lashes dry. When you apply it when it's wet, you still have time to separate the lashes and get a real wispy lash. I'm using the Bobbi Brown Smoky Eye Mascara. This is an underrated mascara in my opinion. I really love this mascara. It gives a lot of volume and length and gives a very wispy, natural look to the lashes. And I don't really hear it talked about a whole lot. My lashes are in a poor state right now. They're in like a shed cycle. A lot of them are shedding and I'm waiting for the new growth to come. Perfect. I'm gonna do a little coat on my lower lashes. To line the lips, we're gonna go in with Smashbox Lip Pencil in the shade Deep Mauve. This is a really nice lip pencil, very creamy, glides on the lips so easily. This shade is deeper than I normally wear, but it's not really dark. I'm just gonna kind of fill in a little bit of the lip and kind of press together before it has time to set. That way, when I apply the lipsticks, I don't have a really defined lip line. I'm gonna go in with a product I have been loving. This just arrived to me 3 or 4 or 5 days ago. I ordered this online. This is the Makeup by Mario Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Color. I got the shade Cool Pink. This is a new product and this is really nice, you guys. It is super glossy, but it doesn't have the feel of a gloss. It's really lightweight. It glides on so comfortably and feels really thin, but it gives mega shine. And it's got really good pigment payoff. Like it's not a gloss that you would wear over a lipstick. You really would wear this by itself because it really carries itself on its own with all the color that you have, but you get a high shine. It's like opaque color and opaque shine in a very lightweight formula. I'm excited to pick this up in other colors. I really love this formula. Okay, so now that I have all my makeup on, I do want to warm up the face a little bit. I really liked that Milk Makeup contour stick, but I want a little more warmth. So I'm gonna go in with my Ilia powder bronzer. Obviously, I love this product. I love the formula and I also love the color of this. This is the shade Drawn In. It's a really soft, nice, warm shade. It has a little bit of a sheen to it. No frost or shimmer, but just a little sheen. So it looks really nice and natural and skin-like on the skin, even though it's a powder. And I'm just gonna kind of sweep this all across the face. I had an event this weekend and I got a self-tan, which you can't really see, but the rest of my body is pretty dark. Okay, so now that I have all the makeup on, I'm kind of looking at it and I wanna make a little adjustments. I want a little more definition at my upper lash line. So I'm gonna go in with the Bobbi Brown Golden Bronze. This is the darker of the three. And we're gonna run this right on the lash line, just to give a little more definition there. So this is the finished look. I'll have all the products that I used along with the shade names listed and linked in the description box below for you, along with all the details for the Sephora Savings Event and like the dates and the different tiers and when you can shop along with the discounts. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and let me know what your recommendations are in the comments below, or also what you plan to pick up during this savings event. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.